if we really return to dust, is there any biblical reasoning against cremation? Yes, there is biblical reasoning against cremation. Number one, because we have the example of burial throughout the Bible. Number two, because cremation is a pagan practice and has always been a pagan practice. And the pagans cremate because they do not respect the body. They believe that what's really important is the spirit, and that the body is kind of this cage in which the spirit finds itself. So Christianity has always been about the respect of the body because we're made in the image of God. Only paganism has promoted cremation, and Christians are buried. The idea of the resurrection of the body uses language of being raised from the ground. The idea of baptism is about being buried and then being raised again, from the ground. So yes, our respect from the body is based on a biblical ethic, and cremation is based on a pagan ethic that does not respect the human body. So,
what we believe about worship, go to a funeral. A young man I know died in a tragic accident. His death was utterly sad. At his funeral, his friends were all wearing t-shirts adorned with his picture. At the front of the church were heaped up flowers, footballs, and stuffed animals. On top of his coffin was a picture from his senior prom. The service began with a recording of his favorite song, a heavy metal power ballad. The preacher gave a eulogy, praising how the teenager was such a good friend, such a good person, recounting some of the funny things he used to say, telling about the dreams he had for his life. Everybody in the church was crying. Then his best friend got up to say a few words. He was sobbing. He finally croaked out his goodbye as the congregation joined his sobs. His girlfriend recited a poem she wrote about how much she loved him. Then the boy's grief-stricken father had to get up in front of everybody and talk about his son. As if all this emotion were not wrenching enough, the funeral director next played a video showing highlights of the boy's life, his baby pictures, playing with his friends, enjoying Christmas with his family, waving at the cameras. There was not a dry eye in the house. People said, what a beautiful funeral it was. This is a living, breathing picture of the affective principle. This is a service that was not designed based upon what God says about himself. It was not designed based upon bringing clarity to who God is in light of this tragic event. It was a service that was designed with this young man at the center. And it was designed for the people so that they might have an emotional catharsis. Poythress goes on. Another funeral I attended was of another young person who died a tragic death, one that was even more senseless and terrible. She had been raped and murdered by a serial killer. I was one of the elders on duty. My job was to keep the news media away from the family. At this funeral, the congregation sang old hymns. They were in a minor key, but the lyrics centered on the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. The grievers joined together in a responsive reading of the Word of God. The pastor, garbed in black, read more text from the Bible. Instead of a eulogy, the pastor recited the facts of the girl's life, emphasizing her baptism, her catechism, her confession of faith. He described how she joined the church, her confirmation, and her regular reception of the Lord's Supper. The pastor, preaching from the Bible, gave a sermon on our travails in this wicked world.
Welcome you guys back on here. If you're new, consider subscribing, liking, and also share this video. So the passing of Pastor Voddie Baucham Jr. on September 25th, 2025 at the age of 56 sent shockwaves throughout communities far beyond circles where he was best known. Worldwide, he was a preacher, an author, and a speaker, and Baucham's voice carried well beyond the pulpit. His influence stretched from churches across the United States, to classrooms in Africa where he served as a lecturer and a dean. Now, his family have come out, to reveal the funeral updates and, of course, a celebration of life service that's going to take place on Friday, October 10th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Central time. It's going to take place at the Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship Church, that is in Dallas, Texas, Junior, and they invite everyone, either in person or emotionally, to attend this funeral, because Voddie Baucham is a man who did a lot for the Christian community and, of course, to the gospel, with regards to his preachings and, of course, influence. We are still praying for the whole family. We are praying for the wife, Bridget, and all the children, plus everyone who knew and loved the legend that is Voddie Baucham. Rest in power, King.